I'd like to make a motion to open the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation meeting of February 13th, 2013.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Business, if we can take out our cell phones, iPhones, handhelds, and personal devices. They have to be powered down. They can't be on vibrate, silent, or any mode other than powered down. We ask that we all take care of that. We also ask if you will be speaking, we request that you speak into the microphone, direct all comments, questions, and concerns to this board. We also ask that you be courteous to one another as each person is speaking. If you do need to discuss any matters, please take it into the hallway. It interferes with our ability to hear those that are speaking. And as always, keep our comments as close to the 3 to 5 minutes rebuttal time as possible. We're going to start. We'd like to welcome our panel, our board. Unfortunately, Ham Hogue will not be here this evening. We would like to welcome Christina Redding, Brian Brady, our legal counsel, Bo Robinson, our historic consultant, Zach Studenroth will be here. He is on his way. And we just want to take a moment to acknowledge that we unfortunately lost a warrior on this village and on this board as well. Mr. Arnie Pastor has passed away, and we considered him to be a valued participant of this board and a valid participant in the village of Southampton. And if we could just take a moment of silence for his homegoing. Thank you. We're going to start this evening's applications with signs. And first application sign.
First application is Pottery Barn, 1 Hampton Road, for 9 storefront signs.
9 again, 9? No.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name, just for the record?
I'm Susan Surowitz-Keeney of SSK Enterprises.
Matthew Usbeck with Callison Architects.
Okay. Last we spoke, we gave some direction as to what this board usually looks for, and also take into consideration prior applications and buildings in the village of Southampton to become more conforming to both our code as well as the overall
Correct.
village environment.
And I did go through the village, and I saw everything, and hopefully what we have now submitted in will be okay with the board. I had you handed this out, plus when I went to the building department, I also gave what the letters look like, and they're mounted on a I had given everything in the colors. See the different colors, the different sizes. There we go. The originally submitted application at the previous meeting, we wanted an average of 9 signs, and I understand that they have decreased it, and also you wanted the signs a little bit smaller, which if you look at it, it is smaller. We've got the drawings of where the signs will be placed
Can you
and
just,
the sizes.
for our purposes, and
I
so
have
we're on the
more.
same page?
If you want,
What is the date of the
Oh, I'm sorry.
revised plans that
the
you?
revised drawings were done for revised January 30th of 2013.
Okay.
I also had brought in more drawings for you, so that you'll have one for each application. I also submitted in an application per sign, as you requested, the town attorney had requested. So I have extra ones in case you need it.
So you've condensed to 8 signs?
3 signs.
7. 7 total.
We have 5 wall signs and 2 post and panel parking signs, which you had said it was okay, submitted in from the first meeting. So I still put it in anyways to be separate, each sign.
Have you eliminated the backlit feature?
Yes, sir. We are presenting non-illuminated pin-mounted letters. Now, the first sign, which is, if you turn the page, you'll see it, number A. And it has A through A, B, C, D, E. I believe it goes all the way down to to F is for the mounted signs on the brickwork. And they're all 8-inch thick aluminum trim. And it's got the different colors that they'd like to have listed as far as the instructions of how it's going to be placed on the building. And we have one that's 12-inch tall, which is Pottery Barn, and that is the south storefront elevation. That's number A. And then you've got a scaled down one, which is number B, which is a Pottery Barn also, and that is scaled down to 6 inches tall. And we have one Pottery Barn Kids, which is 11-inch tall, and we have, I said, the post and panel parking signs. We have 2 customer pickup signs. That's would be in the back, and we have one that's 18-inch by 36. That's going to have the Pottery Barn with the Pottery Barn Kids. Both of them, and the other one is 10-inch by 33 customer pickup signs, and they're all listed and shown. The first one is the north elevation, which is just plain Pottery Barn Kids, and it's self-explained on the drawing submitted in exactly how it's going to be mounted by the plaster wall system, with the studs, the spacing, the size of the thickness of the aluminum letters, and the colors. And it's going to be drilled and taped into. And it's shown as far as the lettering A, B, C, D, E, F of the Pottery Barn and the Pottery Barn Kids. So is there anything else that I can assist you with as far as when you look at them? They did decrease it from what we had before, but they thought that it's most important that on the south storefront elevation that we keep that size a little bit bigger, and I believe that is 12 inches. And the one on the side, which is just plain Pottery Barn, we reduced that to 6 inches, as I stated. And they want
So the only color
This color.
color lettering is the actual spell out Kids,
yeah,
correct?
that's
Everything else is
that's
black.
Do we have a
to
sample of that color?
Sorry?
Do we have a sample of that color? The blue?
Sample.
Sample.
Okay.
the lettering, I think, shows the blue and the coloring.
I'm fine. Do you have any questions, Christine?
I just wondered if you had a sample of the blue for the kids.
I believe, isn't there, I gave them like 3 different samples, of the silver one that you've got, the grayish silver, and I did have the blue in the packet.
There's no blue.
And
Brian?
it's stated on here what the color blue is. Let's see. It's an, let's see. Okay, a medium gray is the pottery. And it's
And are
got
these
satin
back
white
yet?
finish, and it's
Nothing's
got
lit.
Nothing's
silver,
lit.
medium gray. Where's the blue? I know I submitted the blue in. I know I did. There's nothing else in there? Because I don't have it.
Okay. We just don't have it here.
And the blue also, the same blue is what was submitted in the first time.
Brian, comments?
It's called out as a navy blue. Would you say that's
Yeah,
pretty
probably
accurate?
navy blue.
Bless you.
They wanted to show the difference between what the Pottery Barn and the Pottery Barn Kids. And that's the reason why that Kids is in a blue color, to be more visual.
No, I think it's very tastefully done.
Christine?
None. Thank you for not lighting it.
I understand what you meant, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Are you proposing any lanterns or any type of lighting at all?
I had been in contact with the sign company, and they contacted the Pottery Barn company. And at this moment, there is no lighting proposed. And if there will be, that we understand that we have to come back and ask permission.
Very good. Thank you.
Forget, is the landscaping remaining? There's a little bit of landscaping in the front.
This gentleman would understand that more.
I'm actually not sure about that at this moment.
Zach? Anything further?
Want to see it? You want to see it?
Council, buildings in the historic district, correct? Therefore, even the sign would require a written decision?
We haven't been doing that in the past.
Okay.
I wouldn't think at this stage. it's
Sensitive
necessary.
application, I just asked if,
Yeah. It's not been posted as an historic application. I don't think they've advertised it as such.
okay. Any public comment on the application? Anything further from the board?
No.
Anything further from the applicant?
No, sir?
Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the storefront signs for Pottery Barn on Hampton Road.
Second.
We're gonna do each one individually?
You want to
There's
do?
Hampton Road, there's North Sea Road, and so there are seven signs
It's
altogether.
only spelled out as Hampton Road. There's one on North Sea Road and one on
There's 7 applications altogether
the
independently.
thing it says 9, so we're just doing 7.
Yes.
So 7 signs, one on North Sea Road on the front face of the building, and the rest on the side and at the back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you. I also would like to give this to the secretary. I have now each application I submitted, I have one set. That way, when you have the files, you won't have to go to another file. I have them here for you. to
We
present.
have 2 sets.
I know, but I thought that you might want one with each application, okay? Thank you.
Next sign application, please.
Next sign application is Douglas Elliman Real Estate, 70 Jobs Lane.
The applicant present?
Sign is up. This awning is up.
Replacing the existing sign, company went under a name change. I'm not sure, I think the colors changed too.
It did, yeah. We objected to the website.
There's been no follow-up from anyone from on the application. Can we get a letter out to the applicant to find out the further development? Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn the sign application and awning application for Douglas Elliman Real Estate on Job's Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next application, please.
Pace Real Estate Services LLC, a contractor sign.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm actually, just a small correction, it's a real estate sign, not a contractor sign. And basically, this is what it would look like. It would be hung on a white aluminum L-post with no riders on the bottom as, as per code. And basically, this is what it would look like.
Show the camera, please. Brian, any comments?
Is the picture, the graphic, is that a logo? Or
Yes.
is that is the company logo?
Company logo, yes.
That's what we said we weren't gonna do websites.
No on signs? Okay with it, yeah. I'm fine.
Issue? Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the real estate sign for Pace Real Estate.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Next application, please.
Next application is Southampton Building Corp., 80 White Street, for a street sign.
I'm Nicholas Ali Monestiano.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Thanks.
Street signs, just your name of the companies that are occupying your building?
Right, and we're replacing the beautiful U sign that was there. I think there's a picture of it.
Brian, any comments?
No, I think it's fine.
Christine?
No, it's fine.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the sign application for Pace Real Estate Services.
Nope.
No,
Southampton
contractor.
Nope. Southampton Building.
Oh, Southampton, oh, that's right, sorry. Put it down to my condition. Southampton Building Corp., 80 White Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next application, please.
Next application is Hallstrom and Associates, LLC. Contractor sign.
Hi, good evening. Name's Daniel Berry.
This is a site sign?
Correct.
Okay. Because I see Sean Architecture's underneath. Are you proposing both?
Yes,
So it's going to be the construction sign and the architectural sign underneath.
correct.
Brian?
No, I think it's fine.
Christine?
No, that's good.
For both to be on the site. You have no issue.
Well, it's, I think it's better than
Done
having
it
two
before.
signs.
Yeah.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve Hallstrom and Associates contractor sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next application, please.
Next application is Town and Country, 16 Hampton Road.
William
Four
Cullum.
storefront signs.
Your name for the record?
William Cullum.
All right. We'll start with the Hampton Road sign, Hampton Road sign. This is going to be over the,
So bright.
Like,
at the western portion of the building?
Yes. It's the Main Street side of the, if you're looking at Hampton Road, it's on the Main Street side.
Uh,
the parking lot is?
the logo here, the Power of Deep Roots, is that something that's going to be on the sign?
That's, yeah, it's something that's going on all of their new signs in all of the towns. They're changing all of their company signs.
Brian, what do you think about the Power of Deep Roots?
I think that we don't like to have advertising of sorts on the buildings.
Christine?
Well, I agree. I mean, I think that, they've done a nice job on this building. And I personally don't like colored signs, even though I know they're allowed. But I think that adding advertising or what looks like advertising to the sign is not what we're looking for. Just the name.
I would have to run that by the company, obviously. The reason they did it was to kind of soften the Town and Country logo and look itself. They didn't want a huge, gigantic, 4x8 Town and Country up there, and that's why it's so small in one line, and literally the letters are about 4 inches, and it is a very delicate font. But I can bring that back to them if you'd
Well,
like.
they could solve that by just putting Town and Country across the whole.
Yeah, but
That's what he was-
it would
he's
be
saying.
much larger.
He was trying to avoid the large,
They're trying to go with a little bit more of a subtle look as well.
Well, nobody's forcing them to have a big sign. What do you think?
I totally agree. It's the reason why I brought it up. We've deterred other applicants from corporate logos and
Slogans.
slogans and advertisement. There's media for that, not necessarily the building. Any lanterns or
The lanterns that are in the picture are existing.
existing? Okay. If you can talk to your client, see if they'd be receptive to eliminating the slogan.
Okay.
Is there any public comment on the application? Anything further from the board?
No.
The board doesn't seem to have the votes. Do you wish for the board to adjourn until the next meeting so you can
Please.
speak with your applicant? Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn.
I make a motion that we approve the applicant's request to adjourn the sign application for Town and Country.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next application, please.
Next application is Cutting Edge Estate Care for contractor sign.
William Cullum.
Busy.
Trying to be.
That's good. Any questions?
No, it's okay.
Nothing? Any public comment? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the contract assigned for Cutting Edge Estate Care.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
And our final sign permits for the evening.
Bishop's Pond storefront sign.
Zach Epley.
Hey,
Hey, what's going on?
these are little awnings over the window.
Yeah.
Christine, comments?
No, can you see? Yep. That's a lot of saying.
Fine, it's great. I think it's really tasteful.
That's good.
Someone's ringing.
Humming.
You weren't here for the instructions, okay. Brian, any comments?
No, I think it's fine.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the application for Bishop's Pond on 46 Jobs Lane. What kind of a
Second.
store is it?
It's a showroom for our models for the ponds project that we're doing with the condos. So,
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you.
That concludes our sign permits for the evening. First application, historic.
First application is Calvin Klein, 650 Meadow Lane for driveway gates.
Is the applicant present? Okay, wait for second call. Next application. Application is closed for written decision by council.
In the file is a decision approving the application as submitted. An affirmative vote would be to approve the application.
Motion to approve council's written decision for the application of Andrew and Dana Stone.
I make a motion that we approve council's written decision for the application of Andrew and Dana Stone at 527 Meadow Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Concludes our historic applications for this evening. First application, non-historic.
First application is Sillerman Residential Properties at 1100 Meadow Lane, in addition to a pool house.
Mark Matthews, architect for the applicant. I believe there were some renderings that were part of this application also that you looked at last time. 23rd, yeah. And I also think that there's a letter from John Foster clarifying the fact that this application will be in compliance with the code that he delivered to you today.
He said it was.
We have a letter from the building inspector. Council? Could you please read this into record? Thank you.
You want that done right now?
Yes.
a letter dated today from Don Foster, dear Chairman and board members. There was a concern expressed to me about the Sillerman Pool House addition. The proposed addition is underground as an expanded cellar area under a new proposed patio terrace. This addition is to be a primary area to use for additional storage, as the Sillermans are selling their larger main residence and will be moving into the smaller adjoining residence. Since the new cellar addition is underground, it is not calculated as habitable space area, per the code only as storage area. This will be in compliance with the code.
Board members, any question as to the letter from our building inspector?
No.
Nope.
Okay. See. Nothing further? Nothing further?
I just ask that you approve this so we can press on.
Brian, any comments?
No, I think we were all in favor of the architecture. It was just a question of the compliance, so I'm fine with it.
Christine?
Nope, I'm fine with it.
Any public comment on this application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the application of Sillerman Residential Properties LP at 1100 Meadow Lane.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next application, please.
Next application is Richard and Beth Einbinder at Halsey Street. Two-story single-family dwelling.
My name is Marco Uvalde, Southampton Engineering, for the applicant.
Good evening, William Grigo, attorney for the applicant and Southampton Engineering. Marco's the draftsman. He'll be taking you through the recommended changes that you, as of last time.
Bless you.
Is this new in the folder?
Yeah.
It is. I need to stamp two of them. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Thought they were just mini plans.
Zach? See?
On the previous ARB meeting, we found 3 different issues with the design. The first being the covered entry was lacking character. Second one was the roof top deck accessible from the master bedroom, the rear side of the property, which was invading neighbor's privacy. And the third, we were not showing a screening in our site plan. So the first issue, we addressed it by dropping the beam. If you could refer to sheet 4, the front elevation. The front covered portico, we dropped the beam. We added a transom above the door, and then we have wider casing, hoping this would give the front entry a stronger character. The second issue, the rear accessible deck from the master, was removed, and that became a flat roof. So there are no French doors. Those became windows, and hopefully this takes care of the privacy issue.
You can see that on page 5 of the drawings. You'll see that there's windows, there's no more doors there, there's a flat roof, and there's no railing going around.
Yes.
And then the third issue we had was the screening. We're not showing screening in our site plan. If you go to the second sheet in our set, that's the site plan. You can see it in color what we are suggesting, which we have on the 3 sides of the property. We have privets 6 foot tall, 2 larger trees to the front, which are river birds. Those be 8 foot. And then we have American boxwoods around the window wells.
Brian, comments?
I'm still looking.
Christine?
No.
Any public comment on the application? I have no issue. You think you've satisfied the 3 major elements that we had challenge or issue with. I have nothing further. Brian?
I think they've made some good improvements, so I'm fine with it.
I know it's not historic property, but Zach, and you're over there scratching your head.
No, it's not in the historic district, so.
Okay. Finally, no public comment? Nothing further from the applicant? Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we approve the application of Richard and Beth Einbinder, 219 Halsey Street.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next application, please.
Next application is Lisa and Wayne Miller, 24 Somerset Avenue.
Good evening, I'm Jim McChesney, the architect for the applicant. These are half-size sets of the drawings that are in the file. Basically, there's two parts of our project. The main house, we're doing a lot of interior work and replacing the windows on the outside. In the same opening, slightly larger, and we're adding a bay window on the front elevation and redoing the front entrance porch. And then on the south elevation, it's a different window configuration, but in general, the windows are in existing locations. So that's the first part of the project, and then the bigger part is we're moving the pool and doing a new pool house, which are the last two drawings in the set that you have.
Christine, comments?
I'm still looking at
Brian?
No, I think it's fine. It's good.
I have no issue.
Are we doing the pool house as well?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a completely new pool house.
Yes, I think it looks good.
Thank you.
Any public comments on the application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the application of Lisa and Wayne Miller at 24 Somerset Avenue.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck. Next application, please.
Next application is Guillaume Legun, 15 Dale Street.
Yes. So this is an application to add a dormer on
Your
the...
name for the record, please.
Guillaume Le Guen, the homeowner, Dale Street.
Just this.
It's just the dormer?
Just a dormer in the front of the house. And I'm extending the eaves and the rakes, and new siding, new roof.
Brian, comments?
Has a copper roof? Copper
Yeah, it's gonna be a copper roof on the dormer, yes.
And the bay below is existing and
Yes.
everything, so you're just...
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it.
Christine?
No, I'm fine.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the application of Guillaume Legun at 15 Dale Street.
Very good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next application, please.
Next application is Dr. Elliot and Alla Belinkov at 25 Somerset Avenue for a new two-story house with an attached garage.
Correct. My name is Fred Through, Architecture One, representing Elliott and Alla Belinkov. We're proposing to demolish the existing house and replace it with the documents that I've shown to you. For the most part, the property is nicely screened on all four sides. The house that we're putting back is very similar in character. We are extending towards the south, towards Hill Street with the addition. It's a two-story house, similar in character to what is currently there. And again, the property is well screened. We have elevations. The materials are going to be 5-inch exposure cedar, white trim, every windows, architectural roof. It has some stonework on the front of the house. And it's
Stone and brick.
brick on the chimney in the back, yes. Stone on the two front, the lower parts of the gables, flanking the front entry. You see a porch in the center to the left and to the right. The lower portion of that is stone. All natural stone. It's a thin veneer, but it is a natural stone. It is not a synthetic stone. You'll notice that the house has a very shallow building envelope. We are conforming to it. There is an existing one-story addition in the rear, which we are occupying the same footprint of, actually slightly smaller, but we are occupying that portion of the footprint with a one-story element also.
What a difference.
These are.
Brian, you have comments?
What's your height? Are you taking it up to 35 or?
Yeah, below 35, 34.9.
Okay.
Anything further, Brian?
No, I think it's a nice looking house. I was just worried about the scale of it in the neighborhood, but it looks like there are other houses in the neighborhood of the same stature.
Hill Street is a large house. The one behind it to the west is also large. And also you have one on Cameron Way, which is an extremely large house, which is directly behind you.
And it's below 35 feet, it's got 10-foot closure. Oh.
Yes, it is.
Christine, anything further?
No.
I'm glad you stepped it down. They're levels. It's not one big mass. There's a lot of designs that we've seen. So I appreciate the effort to utilize space but not maximize space.
Thank you.
Anything further from the public? Zach, can you take a look at it?
I didn't see it, but this is not
There is
It's not, but it is.
Can I see the building permit?
Brian, anything further?
Materials
Christine, anything
we'll
further?
be using
5,000
two
square
stone
feet.
stoops,
Yeah.
red stone on the two fronts.
It is. If you count everything else, big house.
White columns and trims.
But this is not in the historic district.
It's not in the historic district.
Just
It's
But
Somerset, it's off Hill Street, isn't it?
it's off Hill Street.
It was Larry and Golia's old. He built those houses.
I have samples of the materials if you want to see those, but they're pretty well represented in the documents.
Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the application of Dr. Elliott and Alla Belinkov at 25 Somerset Avenue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Missing a set of plans here.
Zach has it.
Coming up.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Next application, please.
Next application is Joanna Schechter, 5 High Street for exterior alterations.
Good evening.
Those are smaller renderings?
No,
No.
it's new, so just give me
They're
one
new.
second.
Yeah.
So we don't have those renderings
No.
yet. High Street is off of, right off of North Sea Road. Going up, before you get to Moses.
Okay.
Belgium. West Prospect. It's right there on the corner.
The file application is a conversion of the existing attached two-car garage into a master bedroom. Basically, we will be removing the existing two garage doors, and those will be replaced with windows, matching the existing siding and then louver. That's gonna. If you can go to page number 2, that's the south elevation. Above, you see the existing. Below that, you'll find the proposed. So the two garage doors will be removed, and then we'll be replacing those with new windows to match the existing siding and the louver as well.
So you're gonna match the blue.
Yeah, the siding, exactly. On the west side of the property, we're gonna be relocating a window and adding two double French doors to provide access to the rear side of the property. The garage is going to be converted into the master with tray ceiling. They're looking for high ceilings. Basically, that covers it.
Brian?
Yeah, it's fine.
Christine? Any public comment on the application? Please step forward. We can give way so comment can be made.
Zach Epley. Respect the letter. I was told by my family members it was supposed to be certified by an attorney. Just kind of, I'm a neighbor there, so I got the letter, and it was kind of basic. And I was a little scared about the habitable space, but I guess a master bedroom is good. I was scared because we have a bunch of apartments that are illegal on the road, so that's pretty much what it was.
Well, you have the inside. I would have imagined you could make things happen.
Yeah. So that's really.
Do you have any opposition to the
No,
application?
not at all.
No issue.
No issue.
Any additional public comment? Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the application of Joanna Schechter at 5 High Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck. Next application, please.
The next application is Josh Guberman, 78 Pheasant Close East, for 2 sets of driveway gates.
Hi, how are you? I'm Michael Wadike on behalf of Josh Guberman.
Just give me 1 second.
Michael Wadike, W-U-D-Y-K-A. I know it's tough for me too.
I don't like to hear about that.
Bottom paneled or spaced?
The bottom is paneled.
Paneled. So the top is spaced. What's the spacing on the top?
I don't, it should call it out.
3 inch.
1.5 and 3. Yeah.
It's typical of the in the neighborhood.
Brian, comments?
Nope, I think it's fine.
Christine?
Nope, it's fine.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the 2 sets of driveway gates for Josh Guerman at 78 Pleasant Close East.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too. Next application, please.
Sheehan and Salt House, 131 Post Lane.
Good evening. Robert Fischetti with Bennett and Reed, 212 Windmill Lane, Southampton, New York. The property is 131 Post Lane in the village. Introduced myself already, Robert Fischetti. I have with me the designer on the project, John Vancheri, the architect for the project, who's not here with us tonight, but we have John from the design team. The architect is Zwerko and Ortman from East Hampton, Bob Ortman. It's an application for to demolish the existing house, single-family house, single-story house, and replace it with a proposed approximately 2,400 square foot single-story house as well. This property's not in the historic district. We've shown you, given you a couple of things. There is landscaping. There is a perimeter hedge that will be keeping the majority of it. Our landscape plan does show existing and relocated perimeter screening. We will we'll also have a swimming pool and a screened porch and an arbor. All of it will be with the materials we have here. It's a stucco exterior, off-white color with a metal roof, and the poured concrete for the chimney. And it also incorporates cedar into the lintels and siding. We've given you a survey and some elevations to look at, as well as a color rendering.
The stucco?
Yes.
This is better.
Yeah, black house.
Here you go.
Could you point that this way, please?
It's we've provided you also with a streetscape. There are the houses on the block vary a bit. There are traditional. There is a. It's actually not shown on here, but to the southwest there is the entrance to the church. That is also a stucco type of a building. So it's not totally foreign to the feel of the
But it's a
neighborhood.
church.
Well, it's still there. It's still visible. It's still
The church. Are you making comparisons residential to church?
Well, I mean, for the sake of what it looks like to to your eye when you're out on the street, yes. I'm not comparing it. It's obviously a different use, but for the aesthetic of the neighborhood, it's not the only stucco thing on the block.
Okay.
Or would be. There are a couple of new houses across the street. This front hedge would remain. Would be screening it from the street, and. I think we've. That's really what we're proposing. John, if you would, if you have anything to say about the description of the house, I've covered everything.
Christine, you have any comments?
Tried to keep to modest tones.
So where is it exactly? On here?
I'm sorry?
Which lot is it?
You're looking for the location?
There's the one that's, it's this one here. All you can see from the street is the
You saying here?
Yes.
Okay.
right here.
Anything, Brian?
I'm struggling a little bit because the house, the architecture of that street is sort of like one of the, I don't know, it's the houses that are evolving on the street are sort of reminiscent of the older style village house that's here. And I think the house is beautiful. I'm just struggling a little bit with its location. But now that, I know this street, and is that hedge going to remain there?
Yes.
So the house will be.
It will be
hidden?
screened, correct? Yes.
Because the architectural forms of the house are fine. It's very
And
traditional
I
in
understand the
feeling.
material is different. The tones, I think, are consistent with the neighborhood. It's not like it's a pink stucco house or anything like that. I mean, I tried to keep it,
Right.
modest as far as the color, and obviously it is screened. But I know there certainly are other stucco houses in the village. I know I don't know how you'd say, well, you can't have one unless there's another one on the block. I don't know how.
No, that's not the point. It's the black metal roof that I'm struggling with more than anything. So,
Christine?
Yeah, I feel that the surrounding houses are definitely more in the traditional Southampton style. And this is, I love stucco houses, but I feel like this is not in harmony with its surroundings.
I've driven around this week thinking about that, and I think you're hard-pressed to find a street in the village where there isn't at least a predominantly traditional feel, so that if you never contrast that, I think it gives it a little bit of a variety without standing out so much that it's glaring or anything like that.
Well, what you're saying is total opposition of what this board's responsibility is, harmonious, as part of our precedent of this board.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that I understand that maybe the materials aren't exactly what's on this same block, but I think the color and the size and the mass is harmonious with the block. And I think the material is harmonious with other parts of the village, maybe not this particular thing that is seen throughout the village and does not stand out perhaps the way a pink stucco house down the road might.
I just find it difficult to take in such a modern home in such a traditional streetscape. I think it's ironic that you use a comparison of a church, because that's the read I get when I look at least from the elevation standpoint. A small contemporary church, especially with the black aluminum roof and the stucco. I think the combination of all of it reads more commercial than it does warm, conforming, residential. It's just my point of view. I'm only one person.
I understand. I can appreciate that. I don't get the church feel, but I guess I see where you're coming from. Yes, please.
May I just?
Your name for the record, please.
John Vancheri.
Okay.
My client was looking for something not typical of the street, not to do something too traditional, but they did want to keep sort of a traditional shape and just modernize and keep it clean. So without, again, overbuilding it, we kept it just clean lined and sort of a traditional shape.
Without contrasting, the lines.
They really wanted a very modern house, so, I tried to simplify it and keep, gable roofs and, all the traditional shapes, but just clean line it.
I don't know how you would mask that. Our responsibility is from an aesthetic standpoint, if the structure is harmonious to the neighborhood. Based on what we see and the color rendering, it does make it a little more subtle. I'm glad you had that and not just the elevations that we see in black and white and no character and no depth. But I still see again, one person's opinion.
Like Mr. Fischetti, I took a ride around the neighborhood too, and down the street near the beach, there's a house similar in feeling, much, much larger. I mean.
Are you referring to Meadow?
No.
It's on Jen.
It's on South, Little Plains, going towards the beach.
Yeah.
It's like a big house right near the beach. It's all stucco, big black metal roof, very clean lined, but a traditional shaped house. Monstrous in comparison in size, but
It's the estate sections.
it's the same feel.
Different community.
Okay.
Again, back to the narrative of community and community harmonies.
Well, I think his point, I'm sorry to
Go ahead, please, go ahead.
I think his point was that while the house down the road is similar to the size of the houses down the road, certainly the houses down the road are not all of this style, and there are certainly some traditional houses down the road, but, and putting aside the size, this does, like that one, take a different type of material and kind of blend it and as little contrast as possible and kind of blend it into the neighborhood, but while still also using a different material.
I'm sure the house somewhere else, more contemporary, would be great.
I'm just wondering
But-
if there's a street in the village that is predominantly contemporary that you would.
Well, not predominantly, but the characteristics of favor into, and I know you want to be the outlier, the one person that starts a new trend, but that's hard for us to take that in
I don't know
consideration.
if you could consider it a new trend just because of this one block. I mean, I think you can look a little further than the one block to see how it fits into the village as a whole.
Okay.
Well, at the end of the day, the house is going to be totally covered. I mean, my client does want it to be private, so they don't really want people really to see in any way. We're keeping all the large bushes in the front. We're relocating all the other bushes in the front, so really it is going to be hidden. It's just what they want to see.
What you'll see from the street will still be this.
So you're surrounding the property with deciduous trees. There will be.
They're already there.
So you're just keeping the.
And they want to keep it that private. You know, this is what they want to see, as opposed to a very traditional shingle-style house.
Brian, anything further?
No, I'm still struggling, guys, sorry.
Christine?
No, I mean, I think it's a beautiful house. I just don't think it fits into the neighborhood, but I am willing to go, I'm very familiar with Post Lane. I'll go back and look at the site and bear the plan in mind.
I know you mentioned the roof. Are there, without veering off of the stucco design, are there things, if we were to lighten the roof, is that something, I mean, you mentioned the roof. I'm just wondering what
The
alternatives.
roof just draws more attention to it, and then you start looking at it, and there isn't really any traditional detailing to the house at all. There's no trim. There's no, there's no eaves. It's a very modern house, and I think, on that street, people have tried to achieve the look of, houses built at the turn of the century with front porches, and that's sort of what's more in keeping there. And this doesn't have that.
I think there's a certain style and harmony that's been already set on that street, and here you're bringing in something that is so completely different that it just stands out.
The immediate houses, they are traditional. I don't know that they're so uniform as to set a tone for the block in and of themselves, just the four that you can see around this, but I do understand your point.
Is there any public comment?
Could I jump in?
Okay. Sure. 1 second, please do.
I respect the views that you're expressing, but I have a different perspective.
Okay.
I find these to be extremely traditional. And my perspective is the settlement of the village in 1640. And the massing of these two buildings is absolutely traditional. Profoundly traditional.
Well, we're going
And
old world.
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just saying I'm looking at this as a very interesting, modern version of a very traditional house. In fact, two of them sitting next to each other, because occasionally, oftentimes, we're looking at applications for large houses, 2.5 stories in height, big massing. I'm seeing this from a different perspective. I'm seeing this as a solution, taking two very, very traditional house structures, one larger than the other, a little bit, combining them, keeping the overall massing extremely controlled, very low. So the massing is what grabs me. The materials are modern, but it's a modern house. I don't feel that we need to encourage an ongoing repetition of familiar building materials, treatments, windows, et cetera, I think that this is a modern house which is making an extreme reference to very, very historic forms. And I find that very interesting. And I would say, get rid of the hedge. The object isn't to disguise it. I think it's quite beautiful. And I think it's very traditional. So I'm just giving you the historian's thing, and this is not in the district, so that's not the issue. I just have a very different perspective on it. I think it's a very beautiful, modern interpretation of historic forms.
If I could just continue, that's exactly what we were looking for. We were not modeling after an old farmhouse style house.
I see that.
You know, these are weathered lintels over the doors with the cedar, you know, with the stucco. It's like an old barn, basically. We were trying to like almost an old barn converted to a modern house. It's
kind of gutsy. I think gutsy is okay.
We have someone who wants to comment.
We have a public comment. If we can just make way
I
for
just jumped in, sorry.
public comment, please step forward.
I'm Linda Riley, 235 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York, for the neighbor who is probably most immediately affected, the neighbor to the east, the next door neighbor, Catherine Dietz. She and her husband are away in Florida. She only just heard about this. She called me today. She would really like to have what she's heard is deeply concerning to her as the immediately next door neighbor. And she would really like to have some time to come back, to take a look at the plans that are on file. I looked at them, and she's seen some sketches, I think, or whatever, but nothing compares to seeing what you've got in front of you, and she hasn't had an opportunity to do that. And I'd also point out that there are other buildings on the property that will have an impact on her. For example, there's a detached screen porch that's, I think, going to be significant. It has a cement chimney. It's detached in the back. There are no plans submitted for that. These are things that will impact on her. Also, it was mentioned that it was a single-story house, but there is a second story with a large bedroom and bath and everything else that goes with that, on top of which is a metal roof. All of which, I mean, it's the materials, I think, that concern her. There's metal trim, metal windows, metal roof. I keep hearing stucco, but really it's a combination of concrete and vertical cedar siding, I think. And I'm not here tonight to particularly launch a deep opposition. She has concerns. She's right next door. She's only feet away, and she'd like an opportunity, given the fact that this is, as you say, a very, very different kind of application and different kinds of materials that are not necessarily harmonious. Just give it another try. Let us come back.
Any additional public comments?
If I could just respond quickly.
No additional public comments? Okay.
We did, as you know, follow the notice procedures required by the code. And I'm just concerned a little bit about Ms. Riley's kind of vague need more time. When is your client?
You can't go back and forth like
When is your client going to be back?
You can't do that.
We ask that you direct all your comments.
I'm sorry. I don't know when her client will be back in town. She said she needs more time. Does that mean at the next meeting or in June? So I'm concerned.
I don't know how often you've either viewed or been part of this board, but we tend to ask the applicant, and obviously it's not a requirement and it's not part of code and it's not even a part of procedure. we just think it's good practice that you communicate with neighbors, especially those that have opposition. So at some point in time, I would communicate with the with the
absolutely.
neighbor.
Yes.
And again, your discretion to do so and your applicant's discretion to do so, and communicate and see what their concerns are. Such a sensitive application, and legal counsel's here, I would say that you knew there was a sensitive application to begin with.
I represented them when they bought the house, so they're not from around here. So they
usually it's beneficial when you come in with at least having attempted to dialogue with the neighbor.
I understand. This is the first I've heard. Linda just let me know when I walked in that she was here for the neighbor. We certainly would have spoken beforehand. I think she just heard from the neighbor herself. I'd be happy to speak to her. My concern, as everyone is, as it gets later into the winter and closer to the spring, is keeping our wheels moving, and I'm just hoping for the smallest adjournment possible. And I would just note that they have had the time since we sent the original notice, and there are no specific issues, just that they don't appear to
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think the board disagrees with you either. It doesn't seem that the board has the votes tonight.
I understand.
It seems like the board needs either a little bit more time, or taking in consideration some of the board's concerns, maybe discussing the matter with your client to see if there's any other modifications that he or she decide to take. But as of this evening, it doesn't seem to be in favor of this
I
board
understand.
to go further.
Okay.
In light of that, we're at a standstill. We're basically at a stalemate. Do you want the board to adjourn until
Yes,
the
please.
next, you wish to?
For
Okay.
the next meeting, please.
Board members, anything further?
Yeah, no.
No. Anything further from the public? Okay, so motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn until our next meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the applicant Shannon Salthouse request to adjourn to our next meeting for 131 Post Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anything specific that we could bring to the next meeting that would help?
I'm gonna bear in mind Zach's comments, and I'm gonna go back and look at the site.
Okay.
And we'll have our other member then too, so I'm sure he will have
Yes.
a plentiful of comments.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Next application, please.
Next application is O'Malley House, 40 Barnhart Street. Construct a pool house. Adorable.
What?
It's adorable.
I like it. It's adorable.
It's just like that.
Just for Chase.
Those are new?
Yeah.
You changed it?
You changed it.
Rick Stott, there's no changes. Agent for the applicant,
It was so
Christine
cute.
Vickery, who's here with us.
Your name, sorry?
Rick Stott.
Okay. These are different than the plans we have in our file, correct?
No.
No, they're the same?
Those are not different. Clarifications and additional information.
You can present, or we can, it doesn't seem to be any opposition of the board. We've all seen the project, so it's
Okay.
your discretion if you want to take time.
If you think you can save some time, I'm all for it.
Any public comment on the application? Anything further from the board?
No, it's fine.
I would like to say, I thank you for your moment of silence for Arnie Pastor. He was close to me and a comrade of my sister's in his fight against cancer. And we'll
He's a
miss him.
champion.
He was.
Definitely a champion. Thank you. Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the application of the O'Malley House LLC at 40 Barnhart Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
Recall, oh, good night.
Calvin Klein.
Recall Calvin Klein. Motion to adjourn.
The meeting?
No, Calvin Klein.
Oh, we never called him in the first place.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did?
Driveway gates.
Okay. I make a motion that we adjourn the application of Calvin Klein at 650 Meadow Lane for 2 sets of driveway gates.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What's left are, all board members are present? All right. We have the minutes from January 23rd. All members had the opportunity to review. Questions, comments, concerns, errors? Motion to approve the minutes from January 23rd, 2013.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from January 23rd, 2013.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And motion to conclude the meeting of February 13th.
I make a motion that we conclude,
Close.
adjourn, close the meeting of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation for February 13th, 2013.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night.